Karabakh, located in the southeast of the Lesser Caucasus Mountains, has a mainly mountainous terrain. Bordering Armenia from the west and Iran from the south, these regions are always in the center of attention with their charming nature and rich natural resources. The main relief units are the Morodok, Karabakh, Eastern Glacier Range, and the Karabakh Volcanic Plateau. The richest mineral deposits of Azerbaijan are in the Karabakh region. It can be attributed such as gold, mercury, chromite, and etc. Also, Karabakh is very rich in flora and fauna. More than 2,000 species of plants can be found here.
November 8th is a day when the heart of Shusha began to beat freely again, the day that rekindles the flames of liberty like a phoenix. November 8th is not just any date. It's a fantastical tale that continually amazes and impacts us. Its liberation is the story of our heroes, a dance of cultures, and the resounding symphony of unwavering determination. Imagine it with towering fountains, cobblestone streets, and history engraved in every brick. That sounds magical, right? Shusha stands as a living proof of Azerbaijan's indomitable spirit. That's why we wish good health to our president and veterans from the gods, and we honor our martyrs on this path. Now, as high school students, we present our exposition to commemorate liberation of Shusha. We are not just present an exposition, we are painting a portrait of this magical day with words.
Hello teacher, could you give information about geographical location of Karabakh? Karabakh, located in the southeast of the Lesser Caucasus Mountains, has a mainly mountainous terrain. Bordering Armenia from the west and Iran from the south, these regions are always in the center of attention with their charming nature.
We of November 8th, which will celebrate great pride and pomp to the successful military police of our Commander-in-Chief, our martyrs and veterans. Also, we use and our people express our gratitude to our soldiers who led to our victory. This victory will make our heads high in Azerbaijan and even in the whole world.
Selcan, listen to the music.
Is it Hudaya Tasnafi?
Okay, let's go. Can you tell us about the musical culture of Karabakh? Us are our songs such as Karabakh Şikəstəsi Zərbi Muğam, Şuşanın dağları, Anadır arzulara Qarabağ and Qarabağ Maralı. Huseyn Hacıbəyli, the founder of modern Azerbaijani music, who grew up in the environment of Karabakh, the founder of the National Opera of Azerbaijan, genius composers Süleyman Ələsgərov, Sultan Hacıbəyov, singers Xan Şuşinski, Seyid Şuşinski, Cabbar Qaryağdıoğlu, the founder of vocal music, Bülbül, Tarzan Sadıqcan, have invaluable service in the development of Azerbaijani music.
Our native Karabakh is famous not only for its musicians, but also its writers. Let's go and ask our teacher. Teacher, could you please tell us about Karabakh writers and poets? Being the pearl of Azerbaijan literature, the cradle of poetry and art, Karabakh has always been a literary and cultural environment. Artists raised by that environment have left irreplaceable trace in our literature. Molla Panah Vagif, who was both a poet and a statesman, was the famous of them. Vagif's creativity has brought realism and simplicity to our literature. The work of the famous Karabakh poets Khurshid Banu Natavan is very valuable for our literature. At the same time, Natavan was the owner of Majlis Uns Literary Council, which held in Karabakh. By the way, let me ask my students to recite any poem of Karabakh writers.
Bir bölük yaşılbaş sonadan pəri, İxtilatın şirin, sözün məzəli, şəkər gülüşündən canlar təzəli, eller yaraşığı, ölkə gözəli, nə güzel doğubsan anadan pəri.
Karabakh is valuable for its ancient history. Let's go and talk to our history teacher. Karabakh is one of the oldest human settlements in Azerbaijan and the world. This country, distinguished by its cultural richness and history, has always been the focus of our enemies. That's why in the last 30 years, as a result of two Karabakh wars, Azerbaijan experienced longing days of separation with 20% of its land. However, the successful policy of national leader Heydar Aliyev and his worthy successor Ilham Aliyev put an end to these sad days. This 44-day national war, which began on September 27, 2020, showed the strength of the Azerbaijan army to the world. During this short period of time, the Azerbaijan army waved the Azerbaijan flag in Cəbrayıl, Füzuli, Qubadlı, Şuşa, Ağdam, Kəlbəcər, Laçın. However, the hated enemy didn't back down from his actions, forgetting his words one by one. Therefore, in September 2023, the Iron First taught the enemy a real lesson for the next 23 hours. The Azerbaijan flag was raised totally and silently. Today, each of us is proud of our army, our state, our martyrs, and our supreme commander-in-chief, because the slogan Karabakh is Azerbaijan was proved to the world, not only in word but in deed.
As we said before, we have many martyrs and veterans in this war. Let's hear about some of them.
Vasif Hamidov was born on June 4, 1987 in Sheki. In 1993, he went to the first grade of full secondary school, number 19 of Sheki City, and in 2002 he graduated from the 9th grade of that school. On July 10, 2005, he started active military service in the armed forces of the Republic of Azerbaijan. The Patriotic War, which started on September 27, 2020, he voluntarily went to the front line on September 13, 2020. On October 27, he was martyred in the heavy fighting in the direction of Tatar.
To die for the homeland, to rise to martyrdom, is the most honorable of deaths. It was the main slogan of our heroic soldiers. Mamedov Khayal was one of those heroes. The day he went to school for the first time, he started with the news of the occupation of Karabakh, and that day was August 31, 1993, the day of the occupation of Qubadlı region. Khayal learned this in the first lesson and didn't forget his first lesson, as a result of which he died without hesitation for the freedom of Qubadlı region.
Dear colleagues, students, and respectful teachers, today, November 8th, is a unique day and incomparable holiday in the history of Azerbaijan nation. And at the educational community, we sincerely want to express our gratitude to our dear martyrs, veterans, and all the people of Azerbaijan, especially our Supreme Commander-in-Chief, who reward us with this glorious victory. At the same time, the result of the victory of November 8 there are many revivals and innovations in the field of education. The most significant is that the life has started to get back to its normal flow, deliberate length. Meanwhile, in the academic year of 2023-2024, new schools have been established in Shusha, Tartar and Zangilan. This is also one of the main reasons that makes us happy. The victory of 8 November has become a special memory for our future generations that will make a positive impact on their future accomplishments. Of course, in the 90s, when we were at school yet, the ongoing process had naturally had a negative effect in all school children because we were studying the history of our occupied lands. And thanks to the diplomatic policy and strategy of our national leader, who came in power in 1993, and his worthy successor, Supreme Commander-in-Chief, Mr. İlham Aliyev's strategy, the 30-year occupation has come to an end. Now the whole world community acknowledges how brave and warrior the Azerbaijan people are. And today, each of us is full of pride. Young generations are growing up feeling the victory. At this time, one of the objectives of the teachers and the students is to remember and bow in the respect for the souls of our brave heroic martyrs who have rewarded us with this victory. We all have to decently follow our responsibilities and try to implement the educating process in a victory advanced level. I sincerely congratulate all the Azerbaijan nation and the community of education by the day of 8th victory. I offer my condolences to the families of the martyrs and wish them patience. I wish health and healing to our veterans. Hopefully, inshallah, in the upcoming years, under the leadership of our Supreme Commander-in-Chief, the state of Azerbaijan will always occupy its place amongst the world's community by its unique and persistent ways of politics. I am Jalal Bayramov, a participant of the Patriotic War, the director of the secondary school of Ibrahim Village, Sheki region. I currently work as a biology teacher and school director at that school. How I remember the battles. In September 2020, the battles have broken out, and as an officer, I also joined operations in the direction of Fizuli, Hojavand, Hadrut, Tutuk village, and Tomi village of Hojavand region. As a platoon sergeant of entire military units, together with my soldiers, we first start warfighting operations in Fizuli region. Of course, the high confidence, self-determination, and the knowledge of our servicemen led us to victory day by day. The victory gained during 44 days has ended up with the restoration of our territorial integrity. And for this we owe to strong army, courage of our martyrs, and accurate and so our policy of our Supreme Commander-in-Chief. I feel proud that I also took part in those battles. I attended the military operations together with my soldiers at my platoon, and I also made some contribution to the restoration of the country's territorial integrity. Generally, the battles took place in difficult conditions, but despite these difficulties, our soldiers, officers, and other servicemen of our army have demonstrated a great spirit. This motivated spirit led us to the victory which was gained just in 44 days by the army that worked 24 long years.
Bizim Cənab Ali Baş Komandanın 30 il ərzində doğru düzgün siyasət yeritməsi nəticəsində baş tutdu. Həmçinin ordunun həm maddi texniki bazasının gücləndirilməsi, həm əsgərlərimizdə, şəxsi heyətimizdə ruh yüksəkliyinin artırılması bizi zaman-zaman qələbəyə doğru aparırdı və biz bu qələbənin bariz nümunəsi kimi 2020-ci il Vətən müharibəsində 44 günlük savaşda öz qəhrəmanlarımızın, öz əsgərlərimizin, igidlərimizin tövbələri nəticəsində bu qələbəyə nail ola bildik.
If we talk about those years, I can mention that there was such a social project in our country called the Letter to a Soldier, which inspired our soldiers even more over the course of 44-day war and increased their belief of victory. I can tell you one of the facts that I have witnessed when I served as a platoon commander in military unit number N. In 2013-2015, our platoon received special letters sent to us by students from other regions, village schools. When we opened and read them together, with our officers and our soldiers on the front line, they made an impression that our native land, Karabakh, would return someday, and gave us this belief. And this belief and impression made us win the war within 44 days, last from September 27 to November 10, 2020. Inspired by this spirit, I, together with my comrades in arms, I tried to do all our best for the freedom of our lands. Our next question is about our unforgettable memories in the front. I need to mention that the battle conditions were in a difficult terrain. Also, weather conditions were very difficult. I remember some unforgettable and interesting events during the battle. I can tell one of those events. Before the war started, I was helping my next-door neighbor's child with maths. But after the fighting started, I couldn't help him anymore, as I took part in the fighting. During our service, as it was difficult for us to use mobile phones in combat conditions, or due to batteries of the phones or some other reasons, we were not able to keep in touch with our close people. So often or sometimes our phones were turned off or had no battery, we couldn't keep in touch. In one of those days, when I turned my phone on, a call came in immediately. When I answered the call, and I found out it was that student who contacted me. Of course, this made a great impression on me and on my student. My student greeted me happily and asked me about my health. And right after start to ask about some math problems that we studied together when I was at home, so I tried to explain him the solution. And at that time my comrades started to have fun with me, saying you should buy a computer and start having online class on the battlefield. Because at that time school classes were replaced by online class due to the pandemic. That's why when my comrades in the army heard me talking to my own students, they offered me this way, which made us laugh. And it was one of the most interesting memories that I experienced there. In general, there were days when we were hungry and thirsty, because we fought with our comrades in difficult conditions. So those days of the war were full of unforgettable memories. In one of those occasions, I remember when we entered Hadrut, we were on move, but the enemy's manpower knew the location of our moving artillery, combat vehicles, and was constantly moving in those directions, while we stopped those vehicles on the roadside immediately took our weapons and retreated to combat positions. Was excitement in the middle of the battle, at our sizing of the enemy, but our artillery awakened a positive spirit in us. We were able to continue our movements in our direction again. Next question is how to share this sacrifice with younger generations. After the war ended, I again returned to my school, to the class I taught, and after returning to that class, of course, the greatest responsibility and the greatest task that fell on us was to convey that glorious victory to our students with real examples. I think that those battles, my safe returning to the classroom, was a vital example of a battle for our students, and my students were positively motivated by my returning, by seeing me in their class among themselves. I will say among our duties, the biggest duty of ours should be promoting and making this victory at schools, alongside the other teachers, in order to pass to our younger generations the victory which was gained at the cost of the blood of our martyrs, and the correct and so-out policy of our Supreme Commander-in-Chief. Alongside with the other teachers, we can have our students attend at enlightening conversations, and let's say have them watch the movies related to the war. In general, I think that in order to improve our students' sense of patriotism in the school environment, both our teachers and other communities should be a personal role model. And when we say role model, we should collect the ideas of nationalism in ourselves and the concept of patriotism in terms of the most positive things we have done for the sake of Azerbaijan, and we should pass this understanding on to the generations after us. Sometimes I think that the victory was not that hard for us, but the most difficult part of this game victory is to keep it forever. I think that our future biggest responsibility is to maintain this victory and keep the flag waving up in the air and in the classrooms forever. In these directions, we should do certain things with our students, and we should educate the younger generations after us in this spirit. I am taking this opportunity to congratulate the Azerbaijan nation with the upcoming December 31st. Congratulate the Day of Solidarity of World Azerbaijanis. I wish the Azerbaijanis of the world to act as a whole unit in order to protect the territorial integrity of our country and take the most positive steps towards it.
This is my first year teaching at Lyceum. So when I first met my students, I was impressed by my students' language skills, especially by their pronunciation and speech. So building on these strengths, I decided to create a new project that will be both meaningful and challenging to my students. I wanted something that would reflect back to them the perspective of the world around them, so that they could expand their own understanding. And while I was thinking about the project, I couldn't think of a better topic than 40-day Patriotic War, celebrating the day when we won back our long-awaited lands and ensured justice. It was also a great opportunity for my students to improve their sense of patriotism and, of course, share their joy of victory.
Arzu edirəm ki, sizlə birlikdə gedək Şuşaya. Gedəcəyik. İnanın ki, gedəcəyik. Şuşa Azərbaycanın gözüdür. Hər bir Azərbaycanlı üçün iftixar bir nöqtəsidir. Şuşa bizim mədəniyyətimizin, tariximizin rəmzidir. Şuşa hamı üçün əzizdir. Amma tək Şuşa yox, Laçın dağları da belədir. Heç vaxt biz Laçınsız yaşaya bilmədik. Ağdan kimi gözəl bir şəhər, Füzuli, Cəbrayil, Zəngina, Qubadlı, Kəlbəcərin o bulaqları, Kəlbəcərin o isti susu, biz onlarsız yaşaya bilməyik, hesabıyla da bilməyik.
Ben bugün aynı zamanda Ulu Önder Heydər Əliyevin qəbrini ziyaret ettim. onun ruhu karşısında baş eğdi. Yüreğimde dedim ki, xoşbəxt adamam ki, ata vəsiyyətini yerinə yetirdi. Şuşanı azad etdi. Bu böyük qələbədir. Və şəhərlərimizin, ulu öndərin ruhu şaddır bugün. Gözün aydın olsun Azərbaycan. Gözün aydın olsun dünya Azərbaycanları. Əziz Şuşa, sən azadsan. Əziz Şuşa, biz qayıtmışıq. Əziz Şuşa, biz səni dirçəldəcəyik. Şuşa bizimdir. Qarabağ bizimdir. Qarabağ Azərbaycandır.